Scorpio, welcome to a special reading. You're the first sign that I'm doing, so I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to call this. I haven't really found a condensed title, but this is going to be a reading for the rest of 2020, how you move forward. Because I believe the month of October is a pivotal month, and even the first half of November. And I'm looking at that aspect of it astrologically. I'm looking at it in terms of Mars being retrograde, Mercury being retrograde from mid-October until early November. And when does Mars, actually, now that I think about it, when does Mars go direct? I think Mars goes direct around November 13th. So that's one of your rulers, Mars. So from mid-November until late January of 2020, all the planets are direct. The only planet that's retrograde at that point is Uranus, and that goes direct in, I think, mid-January 2020. So if you want to just, and that's an outer planet, so it's not really necessarily impacting you as a whole in, whether it's direct or retrograde, except for when it goes into a certain house. If it's in your sign, it's going to be more personal to you in that regard. Maybe if it's aspecting you, I guess. But in general, these outer planets, they exert an influence, but it's not by virtue of their transit through a certain sign. It's more of the house that they're transiting through in your particular chart. And most people who watch this video are probably going to be the sun in Scorpio. Sometimes people say, should I watch it for the rising sign? Should I watch it for the moon sign? You can, and I know other tarot readers do, but it's not the same as astrology. Astrology is, specific with these things, and there are solar charts and natal charts. And if you're a sun in Scorpio, your natal chart, and if you've never seen your natal chart, you have no idea where even your sun is at in that chart. And so you can't, the timing issues can be completely different than when you listen on YouTube. So I hope that wasn't too confusing. So this reading is really about how do you move forward. So I am doing it in advance. I was just coming up with kind of brainstorming because I like to do different things. So, please indulge me. If one of you puts, the reading starts at like 3 something, I'm going, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just kidding. Because you're the first sign, so I feel like I'm kind of testing everything out on you. So I'm just shuffling the cards here. And so I feel like there's this green light period. And so we're going to do some cards that reflect the past. So I'm going to have like a core theme for the past. Let's have a core theme for the rest of 2020. Wow, that's a nice core theme. Victory or success. And so I'm going to pick 3 cards that talk about this past season of yours. And then 3 cards for the future. Wow. You got some good stuff here. Okay. Alrighty then. So first I'm going to just talk about the 2 cards in the middle here, because these are the focus cards. So this is for the past. This is for the whole of 2020 thus far. You have the Queen of Swords, Scorpio. For Scorpio, this is such a biggie because this should be tattooed on you. I think I saw somebody with a tarot card tattoo. I can't remember. It was a major arcana, but tattoo this onto you if you want to, because you are kind of the opposite of this. You're more like the Queen of Cups than the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords has that air influence. So it's kind of like this need to detach. But how do you detach and still keep your sensitivity? Some people, because they are so emotional, when they detach, they are like, it's just awful. I mean, the way that they express themselves. And I have experienced this not with the sun in Scorpio specifically, but with Venus in Scorpio. And I know, because I'm mature enough, both chronologically as well as emotionally, to already, not be reactive towards that person who I love dearly and not take it personally. I can read what is really going on with them, the hurt, maybe the fear. And the same applies to you. How do you detach emotionally from people, places, and things without needing to make them evil, bad, wrong? How can you do that, Scorpio? And this may be a challenge for you because you tend to be very extreme. And it's like somebody's either the greatest thing since sliced bread or they are the worst. And that black and white tendency is something that leads to limited thinking, but it also can lead to these extreme behaviors and shifts in attitude where you just like decide somebody that you were deeply in love with, you never want to even look at their face. And to me, we have to get to the point where we are, neutral might be a little bit much, but that it doesn't trigger us in that way, because then there's no forgiveness and you're kind of held captive by that negative energy. So just something to think about. And these 3 cards can describe things that you've gone through in 2020 that have led you to realizing the need for this. The Knight of Wands, just in a straightforward way, this can be this sense of, a womanizer type of individual who is very afraid of commitment in relationships, and maybe that's why they kind of go from one person to the next, and maybe you got caught up with this person. This is actually connected to Sag, but all the fire signs might be irresistible for you, especially if you have Venus and or Mars in Sagittarius, Scorpio, so Sag, Leo, and Aries individuals. I think I might have done compatibility. Yeah, I know I did one for you and Leo, as well as, and I think I just did one for you and Sag. I don't know if I've put that up yet, but you can check my channel. Just type in those two signs in love, and also you and Aries. I think I did as well. So I've been doing relationship matchup videos just for fun, because I just really like that kind of thing. And I'm bringing in this card because I think it also can apply to a different area of life. The Ten of Swords is a card of betrayal. This is like Scorpio's worst nightmare is a person who is betrayal. And with the Knight of Wands, playing around with the idea of being more adventurous in life is also something that I think will benefit you, because I do think that your sign tends to be a bit cautious. You're not necessarily that interested in doing new things, trying out new things. You might be a little bit hesitant. And sometimes you just have to go for it. I think of the Knight of Wands as a warrior energy, warrior spirit. And then we have the Strength card, which is connected to Leo. So was this a Leo person? But also strength. Finding out what you're made out of. With the Ten of Swords, part of this a fear of abandonment, betrayal, is because Scorpios may have been through trauma. The house that you represent, the 8th house, is about trauma. It's about death. I mean, it's about transformation, and death is part of that, but it's just, it can be that you have been through a lot of heavy experiences and you're a survivor, but a survivor with maybe, I was going to say, a chip on your shoulder, but not in the same way as in an aggressive stance, but like a Scorpio, or is a scorpion, that stings, it'll sting somebody else, and then they die. I think isn't that how it goes? So they're willing to die to get that revenge. I'm talking about the actual, whatever it is, insect. Is it an insect? A Scorpios are, a scorpion is or is it crustacean? It's a crustacean. For some reason I was thinking of an insect. Maybe I'm thinking of a black widow spider too. But the point is that being able to experience betrayal and still hold your head up high. There's an ego part of betrayal. Let's not get it twisted. It's like feeling that somebody has made a fool out of you, that they have caused you to trust them when they were really about something else. But lurking deep down inside, in anybody who gets into that frame of mind, is really believing maybe deep down inside that you are not worthy. And so it's only a matter of time before somebody screws you over. So that cynicism that is brought out in the open, that you can say, see, this is what happened. Leo being connected to the strength card is very important, because Leo is about confidence. Confidence doesn't just happen when everything is going your way. You have to be confident when you might not be when you just get fired. And and when I say fired, not necessarily because you did anything wrong, but just because they decided to fire you. They decided they didn't need you, or what have you. And you can still feel like you are worthy, that you are needed somewhere, that you're not worthless. If somebody breaks up with you, you can look at that person. I'm not saying that you just forgive them on the spot and that it's like, oh yeah, it's cool. But you can say that, that person obviously found somebody else that they vibe with better. That doesn't mean that I'm worthless. And I don't need to seek revenge on that person to let them know how it feels to be treated that way. You can let it go. Okay, so I've got you know what? I guess I didn't. I was going to do both of these cards, but it's better this way, I think, to deal with the past and now deal with the rest of 2020. And like I said, I'm really, the time frame that I'm especially envisioning is between mid-November, and so that would be right around the time of the new moon in your sign, and when Mars goes direct, until late January of 2021. Now, keep in mind that there are shadow periods with retrogrades, including the Mars retrograde, even when Mars goes direct in Aries. Is it going to be in Aries? Yeah, I think it's going to stay in Aries. It still is going to take time to get out of its shadow. I think another astrologer mentioned sometime in January. So, I mean, this is how it works. And at that point, there will be a Mercury shadow period before, whenever it turns retrograde, I think on the 30th or 31st, when Mercury turns retrograde at the very end of January. But I don't really, I don't deal with shadow periods. I just deal with the actual retrograde dates. I'm not saying that can't be the case, but I feel like then that gets excessive. There are too many dates that would be deemed not good for these kinds of endeavors. So, having said that, so we're looking at the rest of this time frame, and we have the Chariot card. So that speaks to being able to achieve success in something. A victory is at hand. And this is coming, though, from, you see the horses of duality, the black and white, just what I was talking about with you, that if you're able, now this is an if you're able to let go of that need to make things black and white, that people are either good or evil, situations are either really good or they really suck. And if you're able to do that, you may be able to see results. Also, as a timing card, the Cancer energy, the only thing I can think of in this time frame is we are having a full moon in Cancer, and this is happening on December 29th. So this for you is your 9th house. And the Chariot card is also a card of travel. So I don't know if there were any travel plans that you had hoped to have undertaken maybe earlier this year that you had planned out and they were thwarted because of what happened, the shutdown. This indicates that some of you may be able to actually see those plans through. Of course, a lot of this is during the holiday season, so that might be a great time to touch base. I wonder if there are going to be just like a flood of travelers in late November and December because things are starting to open up more. So the 3 cards I got for this future time frame, the Queen of Wands. This can be like a supervisory position. This may be you really stepping into your power professionally. That's what I'm saying with the Strength card. I really associate this card with Leo, having the Sunflower, and the Strength card was Leo. It's supposed to be Sagittarius. So here we have these 2 cards that are associated with Sagittarius. You are having, in this time frame, a solar eclipse in Sag. That is at 23 degrees of Sag on December 14th. And that's in your 2nd house of earned income. So that's very exciting. You also got the Sun card. This is connected to Leo. So there's a strong Leo emphasis in this reading. This is a catch-all card of all good things. So this can be success, love, healing, everything that we would associate with a good juju happening to you. Prosperity. So if you've had any, and then again, coming from this solar eclipse, maybe new opportunities to make money in Sagittarius. And we also have the card of the 8 of Cups, leaving what no longer serves you. But also, I sometimes look at this as a card of travel if it's of a spiritual variety, where somebody is dissatisfied with, what they have, experienced in their life, and they're ready to have new adventures, but searching for meaning in your life. So my feeling is that might be on the personal level, because the top 2 cards I associate specifically with your professional life. Even with the Sun card, it can be a card of success. And yes, it can be love though too. So if there's new love coming into your life, I suppose that's possible. But it's kind of funny that we have cards. I'm not saying that the Knight of Wands is a bad card at all, but it's interesting. The 10 of Swords is certainly a difficult card. And then, having that centerpiece card of the Queen of Swords shows that there's something that you're trying to maybe get over, because emotionally it may have really done a number on you. And it looks like things are going to look up for you Scorpio in the next few months. Again, I'm recording this in October, so I do believe that October and the first part of November are going to be part of what we have experienced in 2020. All of that energy. Now, which, some people might say has been a shit show to some degree. But, Jupiter went direct in September, so did Saturn at the end of September. So we have some of these planets, even though they're not inner planets, having gone direct. And they are slower moving, so they take a long time to come out of their shadows as well. So their influence, even though they are direct, may still be informing our experiences. But then we have like this green light period, and we can start to see things that the point regarding that the planets are direct is that there aren't the same number of obstacles in front of us. The cosmos is saying go for it, in other words. So anyway, I hope that this was a nice change of pace. Scorpio, if you would like a reading, I'm primarily an astrologer, and I do, natal chart interpretations. I have a special with, full-length tarot reading and full-length natal chart interpretation. It's called the whole enchilada and other types of readings. The link below will give you more information. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye.